ever felt like you're being watched all the time, even when you're trying to do the right thing? Well, today we're going to dig into a really powerful idea that might just change how you think about earning trust and independence. It's called the freedom equation. And this is where our story really kicks off. It starts with this feeling from Leo, a 16-year-old who's at the center of all this. He just wants what every teenager wants, some independence, but he feels trapped. And man, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? So that brings us to the big question we're tackling. How can freedom just disappear in a single moment? And maybe more importantly, how can it be earned back with just one different choice? We're going to follow Leo's journey and see exactly how it's done. Okay, let's dive into Leo's core problem here. It's this classic tug of war, right? On one side, you have this deep desire to be treated like an adult, but on the other, there's the reality of being watched constantly. All right, so let's meet Leo. He's 16, and he's not a bad kid, not at all. But he's got this impulsive streak, you know? It leads him to pull these jokes that's, well, nobody else finds very funny. And those very actions are what's holding him back from the freedom he wants so badly. And this is where his teacher, Mr. Henderson, drops some serious wisdom. This is the heart of the freedom equation. It's not about being punished, it's all about trust. This one sentence completely reframes the whole problem for Leo. Suddenly, it's not about being controlled, it's about proving you can be responsible when no one's looking over your shoulder. Okay, so this brings us to what Mr. Henderson calls a freedom moment. Think of it like a test, a pop quiz for trust. It's a chance for Leo to prove he gets it. But this first test? Yeah, it's a total disaster. So picture this. The setup is super simple. A solo trip down the hall, a little taste of real freedom. But then he sees it, a classmate's water bottle just sitting on a desk. And that part of his brain, the one that acts first and thinks later, well, it sees a golden opportunity for a prank. And watch how fast this spirals out of control. It's a perfect storm. It all starts with what seems like a harmless impulse, right? But the joke falls flat, it leads to anger, then a physical confrontation, and finally, a total loss of trust. Just like that, his freedom is gone. It's a wild example of how one tiny choice can have huge consequences. And Mr. Henderson just hits the nail on the head here. He's basically reminding us that context is everything. When you're unsupervised, a joke that breaks the rules isn't a joke anymore. It's a breach of trust. And boom, the consequence is instant, and you can actually put a number on it. He doesn't just fail to earn a point. He loses 2 freedom credits. He's now even further from his goal, and you better believe the supervision is about to get even tighter. So, where do you go from here? How do you fix something like this? Well, it's not just about trying harder. It's about learning a whole new skill. It's time to open up what's called the Freedom Workbook and really look at how to rewire your brain for better choices. I love this idea of the tale of 2 brains because it breaks down that internal battle perfectly. It's like you've got these 2 voices in your head, right? On one side, you have the impulsive brain. It wants instant gratification and ends up creating chaos. But on the other side, you've got the free brain. It thinks ahead, it understands consequences, and it earns respect. The whole game is about letting that free brain take the wheel. Okay, so how do you actually get the free brain to win? You need a tool, a secret weapon. And for Leo, that weapon is the safe switch. It's a simple but super powerful skill designed to stop an impulse right in its tracks. The rules are basic. Keep your hands to yourself and use kind words instead of physical actions. That's it. All right, so now Leo's got this new tool in his back pocket. He gets his second chance. This is the comeback story, folks. A new freedom moment and a chance to make a totally different choice. And the setup? It's almost the exact same scene. Another solo trip down the hall. But this time, the temptation is even bigger. We're talking a pair of really expensive headphones just sitting there. You can almost hear that impulsive brain starting to whisper again. But watch this. The chain reaction is the complete opposite of what happened before. He sees the headphones, feels that same old impulse. But this time, he uses his skill. He stops, he flips that safe switch, hands to myself, kind words only, and instead of grabbing, he just gives a simple compliment. The result? A smile, a positive moment, and trust being built instead of broken. And this quote from Mr. Henderson? This is the whole ball game right here. He's not just saying, good job following the rule.
He's saying you just changed who you are in this moment. You went from a joker to a leader. That's a massive win.
And of course, the reward is real. +1 freedom credit. He's back in the game. But you know what's even more important? That feeling he gets, that pride from knowing he made the right call, the free brain choice. So Leo's story is awesome, but it's not just about a couple of random moments. It's all part of a system. Let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture, what we're calling the freedom ladder. This ladder is such a great way to think about how independence really works. It's not like a light switch you just flip on one day. It's a climb, step by step. You start with supervised practice, prove you can handle that, and then you earn the next level of trust, like being on your own in a different room. You keep climbing until you've earned full autonomy. It's a roadmap to real independence. So in the end, it really all boils down to this. This chart is like the ultimate cheat sheet for the freedom equation. The impulsive brain choices on the left, they always lead to negative outcomes. Always. But the free brain choices on the right, they lead to respect, positive reactions, and, yeah, more freedom. The link between choice and consequence couldn't be clearer. And that's really the big idea I want to leave you with. We often think of freedom as something that's just granted to us, right? Something we're given. But what if that's all wrong? What if Leo's story shows us that real lasting freedom is something you have to build yourself, piece by piece, one single choice at a time? It's a pretty powerful thought.